I'm using Windows 10 Professional. How I know? So I went to the About Your PC. Okay. So there you can see Windows 10 Pro. If I upgrade, then it is become Windows 11 Pro. Okay. So which operating system you are using and which edition? If you check in your system, here it will shows Windows 10 Home or Windows 11 Home. Single package something it will shows, but it is Windows 10 Home. Home, Pro, Enterprise, these are the editions. Okay. And here it is uh, server, like any Windows server operating systems. Then you can tell Windows Server operating systems are so like this, like a Windows Server 2019, 2022, just like that, just 2 or 3 versions you can tell. Of course, there is also editions, but just tell the versions. Okay, Windows servers,
So
Linux
what is
server.
the difference between client server OS and server OS?
Very good, very good. It's a good question. See, this is a Windows 10 means it is client operating system, desktop operating system. So what is a desktop operating system? What will do? I can install whatever the application I require. I can do web browsing, playing games. Okay, it is in my user purpose only, end user purpose only. I'm not giving any service to anyone. But server operating systems contains certain features like this. I will try to type here only. Yeah. Anyway, we are going to discuss that part only. So yeah. Anyway, I will open that one. Okay. For example, you take a Windows servers. Okay. You take a Windows servers. Okay. So there is a built-in roles and features are there. So what is this built-in roles and features? By installing these roles and features, and you have to configure it and it act like a specific type of server. For example, okay, we'll see ADDS. If you install this role and configure, and your server become okay, server become domain controller. Domain controller, like it means authentication server. It is authentication server. And there is a role called IIS, Internet Information Service. This is for a web server. Okay. This is for a web server. WDS role is there. Windows deployment role. Windows deployment server. It means to deploy OS to client. Okay. Through network. Through the network. Okay. So I have a 10 computers. I want to install an operating system. So I have to use media, right? Generally, but I can do through this server, I can install multiple computers through the network. Otherwise, we can able to install it. Okay. Okay. There is a role, DHCP role, DNS role is also there. What is the DHCP role? So the DHCP and it is a become DHCP server. Okay. So if you install this one, it is become DHCP server. It what is the purpose of this server? It assign or configure IP addresses to the client devices. Okay, like DNS server. Okay. It gives can say it gives IP addresses. Yeah, Pani madam, just sit down. Just gives IP addresses of your remote devices. I exactly say that DHCP server maintain records of devices and their IP address. You can say like that also. It contains a record. Maintain the record or contains the record. Records of devices and their IP addresses. Devices, name and their IP addresses. Okay. So for example, www.javat.point.com. So that is a server name and that IP address both are stored in the DNS servers. Okay. So like this, not only this, there is so many are there. For example, file servers, SCSI servers, iSCSI servers, WSES, it is update server, Windows update server. It updates the client PCs. Okay, guys. So I'm just giving some roles. Okay. These are the built-in roles. What is the server purpose? It provides a service to the client. Different types of services. What is the server purpose? Server provide service to the client. Different types of services. DHCP services, DNS service, web services, okay, mail services, like that. Server provide services to the client. And what is the client will do? Client access the service. So exact point is a client request for a service to the server. Server respond to the client. Okay. Server, client will request to the server, server will respond. Like I can able to access website. I'm not providing web services from the my client device. I'm getting the service from the server. So that's the main difference between server operating system and desktop operating system. Desktop operating system to run applications, okay, to do some programming or playing games or web browsing. And finally, it is like a client device, which we are accessing the services from the server. And what is the server? It will provide a services, different services. As I said, it is like a web related services, deployment related services, DHCP services, DNS services, update services, time services, okay, mail services, like that.
So then, for types of operating system, we have batch operating system and time sharing operating system, right? So then, difference between these types and you mentioned here desktop operating system and server operating. I didn't get difference between these and that.
Which one? Different operating systems.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, different operating systems like there is a not types is actually I'm using Windows 10. Someone use like a Linux operating system, Mac operating system, or different operating systems. It's not comes under exactly not comes under types. Okay, types means the way it is like if you say network operating system. Network operating system means okay, which provide a services related one. So example, server operating system, any server operating system, like it can be a Windows server or it can be a Linux server or it can be a Unix server, okay, or it can be a mainframe server, okay. It can be a mainframe server,
Okay.
server operating system. Very good. So simple operating system. It's like a desktop-based operating system. Exactly, desktop-based. Like a Microsoft DOS itself, it is a desktop-based operating system. Windows, we have a lot of versions. I am going with the Windows 10, Windows 11 operating system. Ubuntu desktop. Of course, VM to desktop, we can convert into server. Okay, but it is like a by name itself, it is a desktop. Okay, Linux Mint, it is also desktop operating system. The purpose of desktop operating system for accessing the running applications, accessing resources by the user, not to provide any services to anyone. Okay, even this is also single user multitasking. So all Windows desktop, Windows server are single user multitasking. Only one user can able to access at a time, but multiple tasks we can able to run. Multi-user multitask. So Linux and Unix. So multiple users can able to log in at a time. Okay, like that. And multiple tasks we can able to run. So here I have written the types of servers. Okay. So mail server, web server, file server. Okay, these are the server kind of stuff. Yeah, here I want to mention one more point. So yeah, how a server, the server operating system, like I take a Windows server operating system or Linux server operating system. Okay, how a server becomes a specific type of server. So how it is? So it is based on what service it is providing, what service it is providing. Okay, so if it is providing a web services, it is called a web server. It is called a web server. If a server is providing um, mail services, it is called mail server. Okay, printer, it is a printer server. It is like it is providing print related services. So I want to take a print, so it will check it my authentication whether it is this user is allowed to access a printer or not. If it is allowed, and we can able to access, like it is do authorization kind of stuff. Maintaining multiple servers as a single pool, like that it will maintain the different server printers. Okay, that is a printer server. VPN server, it will make you to connect a remote infrastructure, like in remote private network through the internet. So that is the VPN server. Okay. Okay. Next one is how a server provide a service. Okay. How it can able to provide a service. Can be able to provide a service. It means server, in server, install and configure built-in roles, features, or applications. You can remove this one. So by install and configure built-in roles or server applications in the server OS. Okay. So certain operating system, server operating system contains their built-in roles, features. You have to install it and configure it, and it become a specific server. So then it can able to provide. Okay. And the server applications, by installing a server applications in the server. So in the only this server application can install and run in the server operating system only. Okay. So by installing those server applications in the server OS and configure it, so then it will become server. I already told one example, built-in roles and features inside a Windows server for providing Windows services. Yeah, it is. Um, okay. So I will remove this part also. I'll put it in a operating system part. Okay. So there is no confusion. What is an operating system? Different operating systems. Okay. Types of OSs. Okay. So desktops are OS, server OSs, two things are there. Find out the differences. Windows and Linux, that is also we discussed. Device drivers, Windows desktop operating system, their versions, okay, and editions, different editions, mainly in Windows 10 and Windows 11. Windows Server Operating System, the list of different Windows Server Operating System. What is meant by server? Okay, what server provide a service to the client. Okay, client devices. Okay, or
Sir,
clients, you
can
can
you
say.
explain differences between browser and operating system, sir?
Very good. What is the difference between a browser? What is the purpose of browser? Browser is an application. Yeah, actually, I have to continue this one, but just we'll give a gap about server applications. Okay, because things you have to understand in different. Browser. Browser means it's nothing but web browsers. What is a web browsers we use? Google, Chrome browser, Microsoft.
Firefox.
Very good. Very good. Firefox. Okay. So I use Brave browser also. Okay. Okay. Brave browser is there. Opera browser is there. What are these things? Nothing but an applications. Okay. Nothing but an applications. Okay. Where application runs? Application runs on OS. For example, you take Linux. Linux contains by default Firefox browser inside. Okay. The browser purpose. What is the purpose of browser? What is the purpose of browser? Access website. Right? What is the purpose of browser? Access website. What is the purpose of operating system?
Acts as an interface between hardware and application.
Very good. It is act as an interface between user and the hardware and runs applications. Provide environment to run applications. Exactly same. Okay. So your browser is an application runs purpose is to access a website, but operating system purpose is to run applications, provide environment to run applications, user user interface like a GUI, CLI type of interface, interact with hardware and user also. Okay. So without operating system, you cannot run. Without OS, you cannot run application means you cannot run your browser. Without a browser, you can use your system. No problem. I deleted all the browsers. I can use other different applications, right? So web browser is required for web access purpose. Okay, without a browser, you can't access a website. Okay, but without a browser, you can run your system. Other applications will run. But with no operating system, you can't run any kind of applications. Okay, I think this is good. Don't worry, I will forward all these things to you. Okay, any other further questions?
No, sir.
So, as I said earlier, again we go back.
Laptop configuration. Okay, okay, sir.
Laptop configuration we have done. So here it is. I think yeah, it's a system configuration. How to check system configuration? Otherwise, I will repeat once. Okay. How to check system configuration
There is
and what
system
is your
and
system?
laptop both are fine, sir.
Yeah, system, laptop, computer or a laptop, desktop, everything is same. Okay, even a server, the physical hardware is always same. Configuration means desktop have a CPU, RAM has a CPU. Like okay, I can understand there is a little confusion between this kind of stuff. Okay, even when I said in a hardware starting also, I showed that one. No problem, I will show it. Okay, PC cabinet. This is called cabinet. It's not CPU. Okay, it is not CPU. It is called a cabinet. What is this cabinet contents? Inside we have a motherboard. On the motherboard you have a CPU, RAM, BIOS, and you have a hard disk connected to your motherboard. Okay, like that it will be there. See, it is inside your CPU. Sorry, inside your cabinet you have this SMPSS. Okay, motherboard, all these things kind of stuff. It is by it is showing lot of things. Okay, I want a older one. Yeah, this is a good one. See, this is a motherboard. Okay, someone put it this one in a OLX. Okay, just I need a bigger open in a new tab. Yeah, see, it is this is a motherboard. Okay, and this is a SMPS. Actually, the guy had taken a picture in a different angle. Okay, so this is a top side and this is a bottom side. Okay, this is a entire cabinet fan. This is CPU where it is located inside this one. Okay, this is RAM slots. Okay, so Here somewhere BIOS will be there. So you can see the CMOS battery here. PCI slots, graphic card slots. Okay. Hard disk. Okay. Here somewhere hard disk is there. This is CD-RAM like this. This is how it is the inside of cabinet. Okay. So people confuse why because of that it's not their fault. It is what is the fault in it? So we generally call this one as a CPU. So when you see like this, we call this one as CPU. And we forget what is CPU, what we have learned also. See, this is completely empty cabinet. Okay. So it's a complete empty cabinet. Inside, you have to insert your motherboard. On the motherboard, you have to insert things. So I will show you motherboard. So this is a motherboard. So this is where it is CPU goes. So like this. This is a CPU chip. It will sit on the motherboard, including RAMs, also like that. Okay. The RAM. This is CPU fan assembly kind of stuff. Okay. So guys, this is a CPU. What we think it is like a, if you take laptop, so laptop, okay, motherboard, CPU, like this. Okay. Here it is. If you open the laptop, you can see the laptop motherboard. So here the CPU, actual CPU will goes here. And this is the heat sink for the CPU. Okay. So see it is there, here it is, CPU inside of this point. It's inside. This will fix it on the CPU. Okay. And this is the motherboard of your laptop. This is the RAM, laptop RAMs. Okay. You can also check in some YouTube videos also available. So try to like what is the uh, system like internal parts of laptop. Okay. And how to insert a RAM in the laptop, like you can able to see. Okay. Whether they ask for a laptop configuration or computer configuration or desktop configuration, all are same only. So what you have to tell about a CPU. What CPU you are using? How you know what is the CPU you are using? So you can go to this, any of these things. Either you can use MS Info 32, or you can try about your PC, or you can try Task Manager. Okay. So I already in the about your PC. So here it is showing what is my CPU, i5 10, i5 10 210 U model. That is my CPU. If you want to add more details of CPU, like about your cache memory, number of cores, number of logical processors, or CPU speed, you can add it. Otherwise, tell the model and ask him to search it. Okay. It is Intel model. Intel i5 10 0. I am having this processor. You can check it. Your process, your CPU. What is my RAM capacity? Same. What is my RAM here? Installed RAM means it is 16 GB it is showing. So what is my RAM is 16 GB RAM. Of course, I'm using DDR4 RAM. You can see that. Is it showing storage? Not showing storage. Okay. So no problem. So of course it is 64-bit PC. It is 64-bit. You can architecture, you can say here it is 64-bit OS, 64-bit processor. Okay. And which operating system I'm using? I'm using Windows 10 Pro I'm using. If you check it, maybe it is Windows 10 Pro or a Windows 10 Home or a Windows 11 Home for your system. Okay. So this is your system configuration. You have to tell about your CPU, RAM, operating system, possible storage. So my storage is SSD 500 GB hard disk. Okay, I'm using 500 GB hard disk. I'm go to the task manager, go to the performance disk. Here it is 500 GB SSD. Okay, so any which ways you will get it. So best way is MS Info 32. So because MS Info 32 will give entire information. This is MS Info 32. My operating system, my processor, my RAM capacity, okay, and architecture 64-bit or not. Under the components, you can go to the storage and disk. So here you can find size of the disk. It's around 500 GB disk. Okay, 500 GB storage. Okay, MS Info 32 or about your PC or try Task Manager. Anything we can give at least some information. DX diag you can use it. Third party tools also can use it. Okay. Next. Any question we left over?
Sir,
Yeah.
can you explain about VMware and yeah, only VMware and Active Directory?
Active Directory I will explain now. So VMware I will explain separately
Okay.
because both are completely different points. Okay. So it is related to the virtualization. So we'll discuss that. So already I shared one document. It contains the things. Same thing. These are all same place only. So here it is. Yeah, I'm just where are we left in the servers? Server provide a service to the client devices. The client requests for a service to the server. Server respond to the client. So there is a 2 points. Okay. So here it is. These are all about server first. Then I will go for Active Directory. Okay, because that there is it is also for server. So here is an example. The client send HTTP request to a web server for getting web page. Okay, so I open a website here, for example, www.w3schools.com. So what happened? A request go to this server. A request go to this server and ask for the web page. So it will display the page. And for example, I want to read about something MySQL. Okay. So then again, it will send a request. I want to read this particular page content. So then request sent to the web server. The web server understand your request and it will give response. Web server send response to the client with web page. Okay. So this is for a understanding, simple understanding in a single line. What is the server? What is the client? Okay. And because we are went to and fro, that's why I'm again. Our server becomes a specific type of server based on what service it is providing? What is an answer? Is based on what services it is providing. Based on that, different types of servers are there. Like a mail server provide mail services. Web server provide web related services. Like that, print server, VPN server, file servers, remote desktop servers, database servers. Why can't we add that one? So like this. So it is here I put a database server. Okay, for example, I want to access my remote database, or I want to connect my application to the database server. So is a needed database server, right? So like Oracle database, MySQL database, okay, CosmoDB. So like that it is. MS SQL server. These are database servers. So different types of servers are there by providing different types of services. So based on what service it is providing, so we call the server as a specific server. We call the server as a specific server. Okay. So different types of servers and different types of services. And how this server able to provide the specific type of service? How it is? By installing the built-in features or roles, or by installing server applications in the server operating system. So it is become a specific server. You take Windows Server, install ADDS role, it becomes a domain controller, which is nothing but our authentication server. You install IIS role, so then it is become web server. Install WDS, it become deployment server. Install DHCP, it become DHCP server, like that. Okay, that is by installing built-in roles or features. Here it is. If you see MS Microsoft Exchange application is here. This is a server application. If you install this server application and configure it, it become mail server. The server become mail server. Jimbra, Coral, mail. Tomcat, yeah. Postfix. This also make a server as a mail server. These are the server-based applications. Why I tell MS SQL separately? Because MS SQL for a, sorry, MS Exchange is for a Windows purpose. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, we got a MS SQL in my mouth. MS SQL server, Oracle DB application, MySQL. Okay. So it is this server become database server. Server become a database server. Okay. Apache HTTPD, Tomcat, Glassfish. There is so many. Yeah, one more. People like this one more. NGINX. Okay. These applications make a server as a web server. By installing these applications, server become a web server. Okay. So by installing SharePoint application, then it is a SharePoint server, SCCM server, okay, SCVMM server, hypervisor server. By if you install Hyper-V, it become virtualization server. Okay, Hyper-V is a Microsoft product. Okay, so that is Hyper-V has so many other features, but you can see VMware, ESXi, vSphere, Citrix. Citrix is an organization. Zen server. Okay. Prox, Mox, VE. Okay. Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization. You know, this make a virtualization server. Okay. So these are all about a different server kind of stuff. Up to here, okay, guys? How a server become a specific server. Just I'm adding to your thing. Okay, just for where is your document? Dates or nothing. Just so these are the whatever we discuss same points only. It is there. So it is a peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer means one system to another system. You are connected in the network. I think last class we discussed how to connect the devices or how to connect one device to another device, wide way, wireless way, right? So like this, you are connected to devices, either wide or wireless. Both devices are connected, so then you can communicate. What is meant by communication? You can share the data, you can share the resources, you can give some message like a mail kind of stuff or message, instant message kind of stuff from one system to another system, but without any centralized control or without any centralized server here. It is like a peer-to-peer work group model. Guys, your system is already work group PC. For example, in your network, you have a 10 computers are there, but these 10 computers has their own individual user accounts only. Okay. Yeah, these are all information, guys, about a server and client. What I told, that information is here. What is the server? What is the client? Yeah, of course, I didn't add these 2 points. So this is the one more point I missed here. So this is the point. Server understand client request by the protocols. So here I stated HTTP request. Okay, send HTTP response. Okay. So server understand, you send HTTP request, server understand. Oh, he is asking HTTP request. So he is asking web page. So like that server will understand. If you send SMTP request, so server will understand. So guy is sending SMTP request, is asking for a mail communication. Okay. So like that, server understand with it. So different types of server based on the services, server voices, server hardware, and about a simple data center. Okay. Same thing in the document. 1 or 2 points plus or minus. Okay, guys. Up to here, server kind of stuff. Understand what is server, what is client, how they will send a request response, protocols, how a server become a specific server, and what types of servers are there. I listed out different types of servers also here. Okay, server names.
Sir, if
Okay,
they ask about the architecture, should we draw or should we orally explain them?
this one.
Client server architecture
Yeah, I don't require to do anything. Just simply tell
explanation.
like
Yeah.
what is a server, what is client, how server will how client will send a request, and how server is giving a response. Internal data also not
Okay.
required. Okay, so
Okay.
simple points and what I told that points are enough. So from here, guys, again, an individual computer and what is the work group, what is the domain, and what is an active directory. All these things we will discuss right now. Okay. Here also it is server client server based on the services, and then this is good, and here it is. Little guys, you have a computer, your computer mainly, not my computer. My computer is already in the domain. Okay. So your computer has basically, it is you are administrator of your computer. You are an individual and work group computer it is. How you know you're a individual or a work group computer? So if you go to your computer and check uh, your computer name like that, I will try to show you. You see any pictures are there in this one? Yeah, like this. Okay. So you go to this if you go to like this is see it's showing work group. So in my system I'm also going about your PC. Okay. Rename this PC advanced. If you don't see this one, okay, if you click on this one, it will show like this. Okay. I'm in the domain. That's what it is showing my domain name. Even if I click on a change, it's showing I'm a member of a domain, my system. Okay. Guys, for you, if this option is not showing, rename this PC is not showing, then go to any of these options like a better either try system protection or a advanced system settings. Also, you can try either of these two. You can try. I go to the advanced system settings, then click on the computer name. It will show this one. Click on the computer name. See in the bottom, like it is showing domain and my domain name. Change. It shows member of domain. For me, it is showing like this. For you, it will shows differently. If you see it is, for you, it will shows work group. Name is work group. If you click on change also, member of work group. So you are the member of a work group, not a domain. Okay. So you are a work group PC, first of all. Second, what is this individual or a work group pieces? So you have a user account. There is a basically three types of accounts, and important one is your administrator account and standard account. Okay. So here it is. I have a virtual machine. So if you see this student dev account is administrative account. Okay. This is my, for this virtual machine, this user is a administrative account. So he's an administrator. It means he can able to do anything in this PC. Okay. If your user is admin account, so you can install application, you can change the settings, you can uninstall the applications, kind of stuff. So you have all rights to do anything in the system. Okay. And another word is I have another account that is a standard user account. Standard user account. What is a standard user account? The standard user account can able to log in and create a documents, use an application only, not to install or uninstall or changing of settings. he cannot do it. Okay. This is so for understanding for things. Okay. So I have an applications. I can able to change the settings with my user account. I'm going to this settings. I will show few things, then you will understand better. That's what I'm trying to say. Accounts. Okay. See, it is showing my user account is administrator. I said already I have two accounts. So this is the second account, student dev2. It is not showing I'm an administrator kind of stuff, but if I click on this change account type, it will shows this user account is standard user account. It is taking time. I think I have to use at least a weekly 2-3 times of this machine, then it will work better. So account type is standard user account. This account cannot able to do installations, uninstallations, change of settings. It cannot able to do it, but he can create a documents. He can use installed applications. Okay, he can use it. He can use a system, but he cannot change any of settings kind of stuff. This is point number 1. And what is another point it is? If you look at, it is showing local account. It is showing local account. Direct name it is showing, under the name it is showing local account. What is meant by local account? The user information. This is a local account. That too also local account means this user information means username, passwords, settings, store in this PC only. In this machine only, the user information means username, passwords, store here only. Whenever the user is log into this PC, so I logged into the PC, right? This PC is authenticating the user. Okay, simply this is my a virtual machine which contains a Windows operating system inside. Okay, and I have an account, so that is a student a dev account is there. By default is a administrator, and I have a student dev2 is a standard user. Even sir, even వెళ్ళిపోతారు. Okay, good. Okay, and both are local accounts. What is meant by local account? This user information and user's password information in this PC only. This user information and user's password information is stored here. When I try to log in, so when I try to log in with a student dev and I given a password, someone has to authenticate, right? When you given name and password, who is going to authenticate? This very PC only. This system only authenticate the user. So this is individual or a work group pieces. In a work group pieces or individual pieces, the user information, their password information stores in their local PC. Okay. Second one is who is going to authenticate, because the user and password store here, this PC only authenticate that user. Okay. What is meant by authentication? Verification of user identity or credentials, means verification of username and password. Authorization, allow user to access or give access permission to user for accessing certain services or resources or applications or data document. You given Authorization, is this user can able to access or not? Authentication means username, password verification means user credential verification. User is correct. Yes, username is correct. Password is correct. That is authentication. Authorization means whether this user can able to access the computer or can able to access the printer, can able to access this document. So is he having read only permission? He has read and write permissions like that. Uh, who is going to give is that same PC only. That is what authorization, authentication and authorization provided by same PC for the local accounts. Guys, understand this part? Individual account, individual or a work group computer kind of stuff. Here it is, work group or domain. Okay, so I written like this, work group and domain kind of stuff. What is this work group and domain? Here I explained about a single system. But think like this, you have an organization. People still again stop talking. Guys, I'm talking about your points only. Someone send a message. In interview, will they ask you show any practical of critical rising, resolving ticket issues by sharing your screen? No, no. They don't ask you generally, as in 99%, they don't ask you to share your screen. They don't ask you to do some practicals. Okay. So you have to explain. That is the difficult. Doing is very easy. Okay. So I'm write in a notepad, PPT, all these things are very easy to. Even if I want to show the machine, I can open and I can easily show you. Difficulty is the steps. You have to explain orally. Mostly they don't ask any practicals. They don't ask
Sir, will
any
you
practicals.
share that notepad that now
The
which you are
notepad
in?
I will share. End of the class, I will definitely share the notepad. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. So the point is, they don't ask you to do some practical and show. They don't ask. 99.99% that is never happens in interview. Okay. But almost all like it, there is a chance of 20-30% of practical questions. Like how you able to do it. Basically, um, things are like how you resolve a network related issue, how you uninstall an application. Okay, how do you do going to disable the startups? Very basic level, but how you able to do it? Like for example, how you uninstall an application. So how to tell that is go to the control panel, programs and features, and there check where is your application and right click on that application, uninstall and go next. Once uninstallation is completed, restart the PC and continue the system, right? After installation, better to restart. So then the temporary files created while uninstallation and as well as the registry will be cleared. The registry entries will be cleared at restart. So after installation, better to do it. How we install an application? In Windows operating system, any installation thing is with the .exe type only. We don't know what is .ms. You don't know what is .msc. So think like this. Okay. So double click on the setup.exe or directly application.exe is there. Double click it. Okay. Then after some extraction is happen, so follow the instructions, select the options, go to the next. Based on the it is given options, select options and do the next. And finally click on the install button. Let it install. Once it is installed, do not do any other jobs in the system. So like that you can cover more careful kind of stuff. Okay. So while installation of application, Don't run any other installation or uninstallation in your PC. Let it install completely. And once installation is completed, go to the README page. If it is displaying any README page, go to README page, open. If it required a license, insert the license key. For certain application require a license key, right? So when you purchase a product, you will get a license. So insert the license key, click confirm the license. And once installation is completed, open the application, verification of license and verification of working. Any application is like that on. Okay, where application installation, you install an application, where it is located, C program files, your application files stored in C program files or program files in bracket x86. 64-bit applications in the C program files. 32-bit application you install C program files in bracket x86. Okay, all our things are, well-known things only, guys. Only thing is, you have to use your brain. You have to memorize things. Enter your questions and answers. Simply can by heart and you can able to tell. So why I'm explaining? So why? Because of, so you have to look it once again. Just look at your system once again. So what is your system configuration? Where is this installation goes? If you keep on spending on it, you can give any answer because the interview want to check what you know. Okay, what you know. It's not about what he knows. What you know is important. Okay, that's the thing. And they won't ask you to do any practicals and show. Okay, they will ask ticket life cycles. Okay, how you will get a ticket, how you respond to the client, how you resolve the ticket, how you close the ticket. That cycles only. Okay, I think for your batch I showed the practically. Okay, how tickets will be raised. So please go through once. Any questions? I think, guys, my voice is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. I thought internet is also slow. It is application, everything is loading very slowly. Yeah. So this is about individual computers. You have a computer, it is a workgroup PC, it is your computer only. Okay, that is for your user purpose. Your account is inside, you log in, your system is authenticated, you are administrator, you can do anything in your system. If someone want to use your laptop or a desktop, create another account that is as a standard account. So who cannot able to change settings or install and install an application, who can able to use your computer. But if they want to do any changes, they need a administrator password. Okay, so that is a point. Next, guys, you are in the organization. Think like this, you are in a organization, or maybe it is a internet center. It meaning is a group of computers are connected in the network. So earlier I told individual computer, now it is a group of computer connected in the network. Think like this, you are in an organization, there is a 50 computers are there. There is a 50 computers are there. Okay, so there are three shifts, 150 members are working on the computers. 50 computers or 100 computers are there. All are work group PCs. All are work group PCs. It means the system contains a local account. System contains a local account. A local administrator account is there by default. And next one is you have to create a additional users because multiple users has to work on the same PC. So what you have to do? You have to create multiple accounts inside. Okay. You have to create multiple accounts. Yeah. Okay. So this is my PCA. It is some very slow today. Okay, I have a computers connected in the network. So I have a users. So for example, Anita is a one user. Why it is okay? So what I have done? So in my organization, so one user is Anita, and another one is Akshaya. Okay. Another one is Lakshmi. Yeah. Another one is Deepak. Okay. So these are the users using this computer. So what I have done, so in my organization already users are there. So that I add Anita here, Akshay here, Lakshmi here, Deepak here. Anita is a can able to access this computer. He can able to log into this computer authenticated by this piece. But she cannot log into this VPC. Why? The user account information is located here on. If Anita want to log in here, again I have to create Anita account here. Again, I have to add another account. Okay. So like that, it the work group is happens. Work group is decentralized administration, no centralized control kind of stuff. Okay. Every PC has their own administrator. There is no centralized admin. This PC has a one admin, this PC has an admin, this PC has an admin, this PC has a having a separate admin. And users, their information, their user information, password information stored in this PC, so they can able to log into this PC, but they cannot able to log into any other PCs. In case they want to log into other PCs, again I have to create an account for them. Okay, so more number of users increases, and there is a jumbling is happened, so it is difficult. Again, you have to create an account in this PC. Eastern. Okay. 5 minutes listen. Okay. So one PC's user cannot log into other PCs. Already I told all these things. That's why I'm reading. Okay. User and passwords setting information stored in their own PC. So username and their password stores in this PC only. Okay. But here it is. We can administrate these computers individually. For example, I have a 50 computers are there, 100 computers are there. I want to do some setting in the 100 computers. Some small firewall settings I want to do it. So I go to, okay, simple a firewall setting. I want to do it on the 100 computers. I go to the firewalls and then I will search the setting related one. So like this, I want to create some setting here. Okay, I enable the setting. So I want to do it, the setting in every PC. If it is a 10 computers, okay. 20 computers, it's okay. 100 computers, difficult, right? I cannot go to each and every computer, log in as their local admin account, and then I have to do the setting. I'm the administrator. So what I have to do? I have to go to 100 computers. How much time it will take? Meanwhile, someone is working on the computer. I have to tell them log out and I have to log in with their local admin account. Again, I have to change the settings. Again, I ask the person to log into your account. Okay. While people are working, it is difficult. When people are not working, I have to do it on a Saturday and Sunday. Okay. So in weekends only if possible. In weekends also 24/7 support. So no system is free at any point of time. So it is, there is the challenges are there. More number of devices increases, it's difficult to manage. Okay. Guys, understand this one, work group model, systems connected in the network, and each system has their own user accounts, and they all accounts in the individual PCs, like individual PCs, their accounts are local accounts only. Every system has their local administrator account. Okay, can control or manage individually, not centrally, because it's a decentralized administration. Number of PCs increases, difficult to manage. Understand, guys, that part?
Yes.
Same. Yeah, very good.
Yes.
Very good. Okay. So then what is this? This is a centralized administration part. It means there is a server. There is a server which contains your user information. Instead of creating user accounts into the individual computers, I'll add the user accounts into the centralized computer. In a centralized computer. Okay. And so where is the user accounts are located? Inside this centralized server. What is this centralized server called? Domain controller. Okay. The centralized server called domain controller. What is a domain controller? Is nothing but a server which maintains the database. Which database? User information, computer, groups, resources, and information. Okay. So for example, this is a computer is C1, C2, C3, C4, and C5. These are the computers will join into the domain. As I said, guys, this is my computer. Okay. This is a workgroup PC. Right now it is workgroup PC. For example, I have a domain and the domain name is there. Okay, so why it is very slow. Okay, about your PC. Yes, that is what I mean. Okay, so let it open properly. See, rename this PC. Currently, this PC is workgroup PC. Okay, I will shut down this PC, but I want small support from the computer. So then I can show you clearly. I didn't close it, but it is closed or what happened? Okay, so what we will do it, so we join these computers to the domain controller. So we'll go to the rename this computer, that time member of a domain. There you have to tell what is your domain name. For example, my domain name is contoso.com. Okay, it groups the users and computers as a logical boundary. Those computers joined into the domain called a domain computers. So I added a C1, C2, C3, C4 into the domain controller. Still not showing. System about rename this PC. So it is workgroup PC initially. I click on the change. I select a member of domain and type domain name. I'm not really adding, just how to add. I'm showing member of domain, give the domain name, click OK, and it asks for authentication of a server. So it will authenticate. So then the computer become domain computer right now. So earlier it is in workgroup, now it is in the domain. Those who are joined to the domain, there are domain computers. So you create a user accounts in the domain controller. You can create user accounts in the domain controller. So these users can log into any of the domain computer. Okay, but see it is, I try to log in with the user one in the C1, but in the C1 I didn't create user one. I am trying to log in with the user one in the C1 computer, but I didn't create in a C1. I didn't create user one in the C1. So obviously C1 does not have user one details. So what C1 is doing, it send request to the domain controller for authentication. For authentication. It means what is this domain controller is doing? Two major jobs. Okay. One is it maintain the database of domain users, groups, computers, resources, services. Second one is it authenticate users when they log into this domain computers and authorize the users when they're trying to access any of domain resources or services. Okay. The user one is authenticated by domain controller only, not by C1. And it will tell, yes, user one is authenticated and user one is authorized to access C1. Same way, user 2 try to log into C2 and it send request to the domain controller. Domain controller authenticate user 2 and tell the user this is user 2 is authenticated and authorized to access C2. So like that, the users can able to log into any of the domain computers by default. And he cannot able to log into other than domain. For example, the C5, if you look at the C5 is in the same network, but it is outside of my domain. That's why it is active directory domain is we call it as a administrative boundary of users and computers. Okay. Again, we will go for this one, guys. What is the domain? Centralized administration. What is our group? Decentralized administration. There is a centralized controller called a domain controller, which is nothing but a server. There is a domain administrator who is the administrator of all these pieces. Domain administrator is a administrator of all the computers in the domain. And here I told in the work group, if you want to do the settings for 100 computers, you have to go to 100 computers and do the setting. But here it is not like that. We create a policy, a group policy at a domain controller and apply the group policy which contains the settings. The settings will be applicable to the large number of users and computers in the domain. What is it? A group policy. What is meant by group policy is enforce various type of settings to the large number of users and computers in the domain using group policies. With the help of group policies, like 100 computers will get the firewall setting now. So instead of going to each and every one, okay, whenever a system is restarted or maybe a user is login at a time, depends upon your setting, it is automatically applicable. Okay. So next one is, yeah, what is this domain controller contains? Domain controller contains a database which contains information of user, computer, group, services, resources, information. Domain user can log into any domain controller, that's already I told. Okay. This is the line. Domain user log into domain computer. The domain controller authenticate users, authenticate and authorize the users. AD domain means a logical administrative boundary of users and computers. Okay. So take a small break, guys, because I am also talking for a long time and you are also listening. Okay, maybe you are listening. Okay, so again, I will come back to this domain controller active directory. We'll continue that part. Okay, so today we'll see all this server related mainly. Okay, take a break. It's 12:15. Come back by 12:30. So take 15 minutes of break.